All right, so today let's take a deep dive into something pretty interesting, I think. Florida real estate investment.
Okay.
We've got this article here titled Nine Reasons Buying a House in Florida is a Good Real Estate Investment. And I'm
hmm
curious to see if it lives up to its title. Like, beyond the sunshine and beaches, is there really that much opportunity?
Well, the article definitely makes a strong case.
Okay.
What really caught my eye is how Florida is attracting this new wave of residents.
hmm
It's not just a vacation spot anymore.
Right. It actually says that as of August 2023, Florida has 82,000 homes for sale,
Wow.
the highest in the country. That seems like a pretty good sign that people are moving there, but like, is that sustainable?
Well, the article points to the population boom,
Okay.
a 2% increase between 2021 and 2022 alone,
Wow.
which translates to over 22 million residents.
Okay.
Now, that kind of growth definitely fuels housing demand.
So more people needing homes means property values are likely to keep rising?
Exactly.
Right.
It's basic supply and demand.
Yeah.
And then when you combine that with the steady stream of retirees choosing Florida,
Right.
you've got a recipe for a pretty active real estate market.
The article did mention Solomon and Sons,
hmm
which is a moving company that specializes in Florida relocations.
Hmm.
It feels like they're really pushing for people to move there.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the long-term impact of so many retirees coming to Florida?
Well, it's interesting because it creates this specialized real estate niche.
Okay.
Think about the demand for retirement communities,
hmm
homes near healthcare facilities, and properties that offer accessibility and low maintenance living.
Okay, so we've got population growth and retirement driving demand.
Right.
But what about the economy? Can it really handle all these new residents?
Well, the article boasts about Florida having the best performing economy in the U.S.
Really?
A 3.3% private sector job growth rate with over 250,000 new jobs created.
It sounds good, but like what kinds of jobs are these exactly?
Right.
Are we talking about sustainable, high-paying jobs, or is this just like temporary growth?
That's the key question for any investor.
Yeah.
Digging a bit deeper,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like a good chunk of the job growth is in fields like healthcare,
Uh-huh.
tourism,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, even technology.
Tech in Florida. I usually associate that with like Silicon Valley, not the Sunshine State.
That's the interesting shift that's happening. Florida is attracting tech talent.
Hmm.
And we're not just talking about retirees with laptops.
Okay.
Companies are setting up shop,
Hmm.
bringing in younger
Yes,
professionals,
right.
and creating a ripple effect in the real estate market.
So is this tech scene really something to consider when evaluating Florida real estate, or is it just hype?
I think it's more than hype.
Okay.
Look at Miami's Silicon Beach, for example.
Mm-hmm.
The article mentions that homes there are selling incredibly fast, an average of 57 days.
Wow, that's a lot faster than other areas of the country.
Yeah.
What does that kind of rapid appreciation mean for potential investors?
Well, it means there's strong potential for profit,
Okay.
but it also means the market is competitive.
Right.
Investors need to be savvy, do their research, and be prepared to move quickly.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the potential for property value enhancement through renovations,
Okay.
something the article touches upon.
Speaking of renovations, the article also highlights the potential for fix and flips in Florida,
Yeah,
but they don't go into much detail. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
sure.
Okay.
Florida has a lot of older homes,
Mm-hmm.
some of which are ripe for a modern makeover.
Right.
Investors can buy these properties at a lower price,
Uh-huh.
renovate them to appeal to current buyer preferences,
Okay.
and then sell for a profit.
So are these fixer-uppers easy to find, or are we talking about like a needle in a haystack situation?
Well, the article suggests there's a decent supply,
Okay.
especially in areas experiencing rapid growth and revitalization.
Right.
But the key is to be selective. It's not just about finding a cheap house. It's about finding a house with good bones,
Hmm.
in a desirable location with the potential to become something special.
So vision and strategic renovation are crucial, not just slapping on some fresh paint.
Right.
But the article also mentioned something interesting about Florida being landlord-friendly.
That's right. Florida law favors landlords when it comes to things like evictions.
Okay.
The article specifically highlights the quick turnaround time of just 15 days for evicting non-paying tenants.
That certainly sounds appealing for landlords.
Hmm.
Does Florida have rent control laws?
No, Florida doesn't have rent control, which means landlords have more flexibility when setting rental rates.
Hmm.
This is particularly advantageous in a hot market like Florida's where rents are already on the rise.
Right.
The article cited a 3% increase in South Florida, just last August.
So it seems like Florida might be a great place to buy rental properties.
Yeah.
But is it really that simple?
Well, there are always risks involved in any real estate investment.
Sure.
Market fluctuations,
Hmm.
unforeseen expenses,
Right.
changes in regulations. These are all things investors need to consider.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So while Florida presents some unique opportunities, it's not a guaranteed win.
Right.
Investors still need to do their homework and assess the potential risks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Due diligence is essential.
Oh, okay.
But on the plus side, the article did point out that Florida has almost non-existent income taxes,
Right.
which could be a big draw for some investors.
It sounds like there's a lot to unpack here. We've got population growth,
Yeah.
retirement trends, a potentially booming tech sector, landlord-friendly laws, and even favorable tax implications. It's a lot to consider.
It is. And we've only scratched the surface.
Right.
The article also touches on the unique lifestyle Florida offers,
Sure.
with its sunshine, beaches, and outdoor recreation.
Mm-hmm.
Those factors definitely contribute to its appeal,
Yeah.
both for residents and for those looking to invest in vacation rentals.
So it's not just about the number.
Right.
It's about the Florida lifestyle,
Yeah,
which, let's be honest, is a pretty big selling point for many people.
it is.
But before we get too caught up in the allure of Florida, let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We need to look beyond the hype
Okay.
and analyze the long-term sustainability of Florida's real estate market.
Right.
Are these trends likely to continue, or are there warning signs that investors should be aware of?
That's a great question to explore, and I think it's the perfect segue into our next segment, where we'll delve deeper into the potential risks and rewards of Florida real estate investment. Stay with us.
Okay. As we were just discussing, the sustainability of this market.
Right.
One thing that stands out from the article is this idea of Florida
Mm-hmm.
being this place to not just invest your money,
Okay.
but potentially build a life.
Yeah, they really played up that lifestyle angle, the outdoor activities,
Right.
the growing tech scene.
Yeah.
It almost felt like a tourism brochure at times, but does the reality match the hype?
I think that's the key question any potential investor needs to ask.
Yeah.
The article calls it the wealthiest job market in the U.S.,
Mm-hmm.
boasting a 3.3% private sector job growth and over 250,000 new jobs added. Those are impressive numbers, but
Right.
are those jobs attracting long-term residents or just seasonal workers?
And what about the types of jobs being created?
Yeah.
Are they high-paying enough to support the rising cost of living in Florida?
Hmm.
Because, let's be honest, paradise doesn't come cheap.
That's where things get interesting.
Okay.
The article focuses on these broad statistics,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't really delve into the nuances of income distribution or affordability.
Right.
It's crucial for investors to dig deeper
Okay.
and analyze the specific markets they're interested in.
Mm.
Are wages keeping pace with housing costs?
Yeah.
Is there a risk of a bubble forming in certain areas?
Article did mention those landlord-friendly laws
Uh-huh.
and how they make Florida attractive to investors,
Right.
especially those looking for rental properties. But they kind of glossed over the potential downsides.
Right. It's important to consider the whole picture.
Yeah.
While quick evictions and lack of rent control might seem advantageous for landlords,
Right.
it's crucial to think about the potential impact on the community.
Okay.
Are we creating a situation where long-term residents are being priced out?
That's a great point. It's not just about maximizing profits. It's about responsible investment that benefits both investors and the community as a whole. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about those fix and flip opportunities.
Okay.
It seems like a pretty hands-on approach.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
It requires more than just financial capital. It requires vision,
Uh-huh.
construction knowledge,
Mm.
and a keen understanding of the local market.
Right.
The article mentioned the abundance of fixer-uppers in Florida,
Yeah.
but are those properties really diamonds in the rough, or are they potential money pits?
I'm imagining those home renovation shows where they uncover all sorts of hidden problems. What are some red flags that investors should look out for when considering a fix and flip property in Florida?
That's a great question. It goes beyond just cosmetic issues. Investors need to carefully assess the structural integrity of the property, look for potential signs of water damage or mold, and factor in the cost of bringing everything up to code.
So it's not just about picking the cheapest house on the block. It's about finding a property with good bones and a realistic renovation budget. But even with the best planning,
Right.
there are always risks.
Absolutely. Unexpected costs can pop up.
Mm-hmm.
The market can shift.
Right.
Interest rates can fluctuate. It's crucial for investors to have a contingency plan and be prepared for the unexpected.
The article didn't really address those potential risks. They made it sound pretty straightforward,
Right.
but I imagine there are a lot of things that could go wrong.
There are. And that's why due diligence is so crucial.
Okay.
It's not just about crunching numbers. It's about understanding the market,
Right.
researching the specific property,
Mm.
and getting expert advice when needed.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential of Florida real estate,
Yeah,
but we've also highlighted some of the risks. It seems like a mixed bag.
it is. There's no denying that Florida has a lot to offer: population growth,
Right.
a strong economy,
Mm-hmm.
favorable laws for landlords,
Uh-huh.
diverse investment opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But like any market, it has its challenges.
The article highlighted Florida's lack of income tax as a major plus for investors.
Right.
Is that really a game changer, or is it just one piece of the puzzle?
Tax implications are always a factor,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say it's the deciding factor.
Okay.
Investors need to look at the overall financial picture: property prices,
Mm-hmm.
rental rates,
Right.
potential appreciation,
Uh-huh.
and, of course, their individual tax situation.
So it's not just about chasing low taxes, it's about creating a comprehensive investment strategy that aligns with your goals and risk tolerance. But even with the best strategy, there's always the element of the unknown, right?
There is.
Yeah.
The real estate market is constantly in flux,
Mhm.
influenced by factors both local and global.
Yeah.
What's happening in Florida is connected to broader economic trends,
Right.
demographic shifts,
Mm-hmm.
and even things like climate change.
That's a great point. The article mentioned Florida's beautiful beaches and the appeal of coastal living.
Right.
But what about the potential risks of rising sea levels and increasingly powerful hurricanes? Are investors factoring those risks into their decisions?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And it's one that the article conveniently sidestepped. It's crucial for investors to think long-term
Yeah.
and consider the potential impact of climate change on Florida's real estate market.
Okay.
Are certain areas more vulnerable than others?
Right.
Are insurance costs skyrocketing? These are all things that need to be factored into the equation.
So while the article paints a rosy picture of Florida real estate, it's crucial to look beyond the hype and really dig into the data, analyze the risks, and make informed decisions.
Exactly. Don't just take the article's word for it.
Right.
Do your own research, consult with experts, and really think critically about whether Florida real estate is the right fit for your investment goals.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. We've gone beyond the surface-level attractions of Florida
Yeah.
and explored the complexities of its real estate market. But there's one more piece of the puzzle that I'm curious about: the impact of the growing tech sector.
That's a great point. We touched on it earlier,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it deserves a deeper dive.
Okay.
How might this tech-driven transformation reshape Florida's real estate landscape?
Yeah,
What new opportunities might emerge?
right.
And what challenges might arise?
Those are the questions we'll be exploring in our next segment. So stay tuned as we delve into the intersection of technology and real estate in the Sunshine State. So we talked about population growth and retirement trends and economic factors.
Right.
Even the legal landscape of Florida real estate.
Mhm.
But there's one more piece of the puzzle I think we need to explore:
Yeah.
the impact of the growing tech sector.
Right.
The article kind of glossed over this,
Yeah.
but I think it's a pretty big deal.
It is, and it's something that investors should be paying close attention to.
Okay.
We tend to associate Florida with those traditional industries like tourism and agriculture.
Right.
But the rise of these tech hubs, like Miami's Silicon Beach,
Mhm.
suggests a pretty significant shift is underway.
Right. The article mentioned that homes in Miami are selling in an average of 57 days,
Wow.
which is incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Imagine what could happen if those tech companies start bringing in even more high-paying jobs.
Right.
Could we see even faster appreciation rates?
It's certainly possible.
Okay.
Increased demand from tech workers could create this ripple effect throughout the market,
Mhm.
pushing prices up even further.
Right.
We might even see new types of residential developments catering specifically to the needs of tech professionals.
Like what kind of housing would appeal to tech workers?
Well, think about the lifestyle and work habits of tech professionals.
Okay.
They value flexibility,
Mm-hmm.
connectivity, and often work remotely.
Right.
So we might see more co-living spaces,
Mm-hmm.
homes designed for remote work with high-speed internet, and dedicated office spaces and communities with amenities that cater to a younger, more tech-savvy demographic.
That's interesting. So it's not just about investing in any property in Florida, it's about understanding the specific needs and desires of the people who are driving the market.
Right.
Are there certain areas that are becoming like tech hotspots, or is it more spread out?
It's definitely concentrated in certain areas.
Okay.
Miami is the obvious example.
Sure.
But we're also seeing tech hubs emerging in cities like Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
Tampa, and even smaller towns along the coast.
So there's potential for growth beyond the major metropolitan areas.
Yeah,
That opens up a lot of possibilities for investors.
exactly. And it's not just about residential real estate. The growth of the tech sector could also lead to increased demand for commercial properties,
Right.
office spaces, co-working spaces, data centers, and all the infrastructure that supports a thriving tech industry.
This is making me think about the potential for niche investment strategies.
Uh-huh.
Maybe there's an opportunity to invest in properties that cater specifically to the needs of startups or tech entrepreneurs.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
As the demographics of Florida shift and new industries emerge,
Mm-hmm.
savvy investors will be the ones who can anticipate those changes and adapt their strategies accordingly.
So we've got this influx of tech talent potentially driving up demand, reshaping communities, and creating new investment opportunities.
Right.
But what about the potential downsides? Are there risks associated with this tech-driven transformation?
There are always risks.
Sure.
One concern is the potential for gentrification
Okay.
and displacement of long-term residents as property values rise
Mm-hmm.
and neighborhoods become more desirable to higher income earners. It's important for investors to be mindful of the social impact of their investments
Okay.
and to consider ways to mitigate those negative consequences.
That's a crucial point. Responsible investment means thinking beyond just profits and considering the impact on the community as a whole.
Right.
Are there any other potential challenges that investors should be aware of?
Another challenge is the volatility of the tech industry itself.
Okay.
Tech companies can grow rapidly, but they can also fail quickly.
Right.
If a major tech employer were to leave Florida,
Uh-huh.
it could have a ripple effect on the real estate market, potentially leading to a decline in demand and property values.
So diversification is key, right?
Yeah.
Don't put all your eggs in one tech-focused basket.
Exactly.
Spread out your investments and consider other factors that contribute to the long-term stability of the market.
Smart investors will look at the bigger picture, economic diversity,
Right.
infrastructure population trends, and all the factors that contribute to a healthy and sustainable real estate market.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the possibilities and the complexities of Florida real estate.
Yeah.
We've gone beyond the sunshine and beaches and explored the economic forces, the demographic shifts, and the technological innovations that are shaping the future of the state.
It's been a fascinating journey, and I hope it's given our listeners a lot to think about. Whether you're considering investing in Florida or simply curious about the dynamics of the real estate market,
Right.
the key takeaway is this: knowledge is power.
Okay.
The more you understand the forces at play, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions and achieve your investment goals.
Absolutely. And remember, this deep dive is just the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We encourage you to continue your own research, ask questions, and never stop learning.
Right?
The world of real estate is constantly evolving, and the more you know, the better prepared you'll be to navigate the challenges and capitalize on the opportunities that come your way.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Florida real estate.
Yes, thank you for listening.
We hope you found it insightful and informative.
Yes.
Until next time, happy investing.
And remember, stay curious.